X-Men 1 was always a very difficult challenge because there were so many characters to introduce to a wide audience, not only an audience that had been fans of the X-Men universe, but also an audience that wasn't familiar with them. And you needed all kinds of exposition, and there was a lot of limitations in the production, and I felt very much like I was making... Ultimately, I'm not a big fan of the phrase sequel, particularly with these kinds of films. X-Men universe is like, in the film world, is like the comic world. You tell a story, and then the story evolves and progresses forward. The word saga, I guess, comes more to mind, and this picture would be part 2 in a saga. The screenwriting process of both films was very similar. I basically sit down with writers, collaborators, and I kind of indicate the story that I'm interested in telling, characters that I want to use, and we craft a story or treatment, and then from that work with writers to develop a screenplay.
I think we started probably about 4 or 5 months after the first one had come out on the script for the second movie. And when you approach a sequel to a successful movie, this is what Robert Zemeckis said about Back to the Future, you know, the audience wants basically the same movie but different. So I tried to think of a way we could turn everybody's actions on their head for the second film. So we really did attempt to give it the same world, give it the same sort of course of mutant action, but have it all turn out in ways that nobody ever would have expected. And I think everybody involved was a little concerned that it might be too, you know, cerebral or too dark, too serious. But I think, you know, the fun factor was there as well, and the action was there, and the actors were so great. And I think people appreciated the fact that we were taking it seriously, and that the dangers involved felt real to them.
The way that X-Men 2 came about for us was kind of one of those experiences in Hollywood where things fell into place and everything happened at the right place at the right time, and it was all a lot of luck, a lot of really good luck, and being there and being equipped and able to do kind of the job.
We sold our first pitch together, which was to Phoenix Pictures for a horror film, and you know, we wrote that, and just as we were kind of finishing that off, Bryan came to us, and he was a friend of ours, and said, you know, listen, I need somebody to come in and work on X-Men 2. Would you guys be interested? And of course, the answer was an immediate yes. Being fans of the first film, you know, and fans of the X-Men in general, it was just an amazing opportunity. We were honored just to be asked.
I've had the blessing of some wonderfully talented and amazing writers who've wrote out the whole production with me and that I can constantly troubleshoot with, and all very dedicated to the process and to X-Men. And all, if they weren't fans going in, they're big fans coming out, just like me.
With Dan and I working together with Bryan, it was much more working day and night together for months. I mean, every day, 12 hours a day, Saturdays, Sundays, pounding the crap out of the script and really working out the story and working at the characters together.
And then Bryan is kind of the ultimate wizard in that way, because he's the guy who sees ideas and either, you know, adds that little magic touch to the end of it, or knows exactly how to shoot it and how to shape it so it will work perfectly.
X-Men 2 is a lot easier because now we've established the world and the characters. Of course, we have some information in there for people who haven't seen X-Men 1. We never take that for granted. But it was a lot easier to just take our characters that we've already established and create a story that they can follow.
The greatest challenge is each of our characters has unique powers, and so we want to explore each of those, and it's not like we develop one sort of effect and then repeat it a lot of times through the movie. Every power is different, and every page there's a new version of it, a new twist on it, and we want more action, we want more effects, we want to go deeper in the story. That's raising the bar for us.
I actually enjoyed going into this process because I could actually have fun with these characters, and I knew I had a little more time, a little more money, and a lot more understanding of the characters and the universe.
Keep cameras off speed. You set? Set. Gary. 3, 2, 1, action!
A film is not like a book or a painting. A film is made by thousands of people, and I'm kind of a funnel through which all their talents pass. So in that sense, it can be called my vision, but it's really my vision of their visions.
It was critical that Bryan and the cast and as many of the creative team came back as possible to build on the vocabulary we had, as well as go deeper and further into the characters and deliver more of the X-Men world. And we're very fortunate to have so many of the original team back together.
It's not always important to have the same filmmakers or even the same cast to move a universe forward or a franchise forward. But in certain cases, in the case of Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and I also believe in this X-Men universe, consistency of the characters. These are characters you become fond of, and also a kind of storytelling that you become acquainted with. And by having the same cast and the same filmmaker, you're able to perpetuate that and maintain that continuity. And I think for this particular saga and for certain others, it can be vital.
Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, Halle Berry is Storm, and James Marsden is Cyclops. Just go down the line, and I think what we forget, once we get a little older, is how real these characters are to kids.
After I did X-Men 1, everyone asked me, has your life changed? And I was like, absolutely nothing has changed except professionally. I mean, I walk down the street, nobody notices who I am. I get on a bus, no problem. I mean, it's such a different, somehow that character and me, no one ever matches the two up. But now I've got this back on, I walk around the streets here in Vancouver, and a lot, I've noticed, Wolverine.
Guess what, my prescription?
Your prescription?
I'm signing off on Prozac here. There you go. Hang on, I better put Doctor. Hugh Jackman. There you go.
Hey, cool, this is unique.
Good luck. Good on you, pal. Good to see you, bud.
Hey.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Do you want me to sign your yearbook?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, who's that like?
Great going to school with you.
You didn't autograph my hand.
In the past. I got my yearbook right there.
You never know, right?
Yeah.
Someone will believe you. One day you'll go on a date with your girl and go, look who I went to school with.
Thanks, man.
When I told my high school buddies that I was going to be Cyclops, they flipped out because they were all comic book freaks, and I'd never read the comics. So, you have this huge demographic of readers, people who read it when they were 13 years old in 1963, and you still have 13-year-olds reading the new comics now. So it's just it was a lot bigger fan base than I ever expected, and devoted.
When you take material that already exists and is much loved, I think that what's required is that there is an absolute seriousness about the quality of the original material, that you don't approach it ironically or with tongue-in-cheek.
There's a certain reason that it's around for 40 years and is the #1 comic book and was the #1 animated series. And it's just not getting in the way of its greatness. And it's, not trying to reinvent the wheel. If it's not broken, don't try and fix it.
When I read the script of X-Men 2, I was very nervous because it's an unusual position to be in where you have to do the movie that you're about to read. Contractually, I was committed to it, and of course, I wanted to do it. And the moment I read it, I thought, this is a better script than X-Men 1. It just felt more complete, and I think because the groundwork had been laid, and you can't underestimate how much character development and sort of place in the world had been done in X-Men 1, so that the fruit of which is X-Men 2.
There's, of course, a huge confidence following up the success of the first film and realizing in the shooting of this that it is, if you like the first film, you're going to like the second even more, because there's more of everything.
The second time around, this movie is so much easier to be part of because now, of course, we know we have the movie the first one, you know, was a huge hit, and so we have that sort of, you know, knowing that that's there, it's such a great feeling, like, okay, so we successfully did it the first time around, you know, we're going to attempt it again the second time around, but we all know our characters, we know that Bryan is a really good director and very competent and, you know, a genius as far as I'm concerned when you see him directing and stuff like that, and we have a great group of people in terms of the same DP, Tom Siegel, and a lot of the same, of course, all the same actors plus some new ones, and it just, I think everybody feels a lot more comfortable this time around. And it was definitely when we all saw each other again, it was like, oh God, it's so fun to be back and like to see everybody again. And
I'd hoped that the people who saw the first one would be happy that, you know, the original cast is back and that, you know, I guess if they're going to go see the sequel, they obviously, you know, liked what they saw in the first one. From my perspective, it's incredibly important because we established so much background on the characters and who they were and what the universe was like and how we were going to create a whole world that doesn't really exist because it's science fiction, but, you know, how to bridge the gap between staying true to the comic book and not have it be farcical.
Every character has a reason that they're fighting their fight, and I think there are audience members out there that connect with every different character for different reasons, and it's got a conscience, and it's got a brain, and it's smart. So.
And it's curious, without having looked for this, I find myself still, after 45 years, working with an ensemble group. And in this case, of course, with people like Ian McKellen and Brian Cox, actors I've known all of my career. Bryan, I'm working with for the first time. Ian, I worked with once before, even though we shared many years in the RSC, before we did the first X-Men movie. And so there is a sort of traditional history there as well, which is very attractive to me.
I'm not going to grumble that I happen to find myself in two hugely popular films worldwide. It's rather intriguing for me to have ridden on the back of other people's work, the creators of X-Men and the creators of Lord of the Rings. But to be in the middle of it all and to be doing work which turns out to be popular with a very wide range. It's part of what one wants to be an actor for, isn't it? To reach as many people as possible.
You should have killed me when you had a chance!
Cut.
Of course, we've been talking about, first of all, the possibility of the second film and then the reality of it constantly, and what kind of form it should take, and particularly for me, what opportunities there might be, you know, to try to find a more active role for Xavier. It's difficult because basically he's a brain on wheels, and it's hard to keep him as involved. But of course, obviously, as an enthusiastic actor, I want it to be in the heart of the story as much as possible. So we've been able to talk about that.
This cast in particular really adhered to what Bryan wanted. Because the scripts are complex, didn't want to mess with it too much, but whenever they brought something to it, it was gold. It was right in the heart of what we were trying to do.
It just creepishly feels like one of those scenes that John is going to come to me and say, if you'd just gotten this one little, but probably not.
Well, you'll have 24 hours to do that.
Get him down here at lunch to look at what was shot.
No, I'm fine. No, I just want to, play it out. It's just you got relationships between you guys back and forth, and I want to make sure it's right. But I think we're good.
Okay, so we'll rehearse the out.
The out point.
Yeah.
Yes, which requires the knowledge that we're going to come in from a wide shot of the reassembling of Cerebro.
Right.
It's a work in progress. As you work on this film, there's, different scenes being written and an ending that's going to change maybe this way or that way. There's always, you never feel it's somewhat in flux, but it's in a very exciting way because you know that everything is being improved upon the entire time you're working. Yeah.
Has the potential to come off real cheesy. So if you could just You know, and also, you still got to. I know there's rehearsal, but I just want to make sure you're still internal on the. On the stuff that you're dealing with. And you know, you're almost throwing the good guy, bad guy stuff.
Throw it away.
Yeah. For you. And you got to look to him like he's.
I've never quite worked with anybody like Bryan before. I'm very impressed by him. I mean, you know, it's tough. I think it's very tough for him. I think it's very tough leading this kind of monolith.
Ice wall installation day. It's actually cold. It's actually cold standing here.
Okay.
This ice wall weighs 3,500 pounds. Yep. 3,500 pounds. Right. And is very cold and wet. Is it gonna fall on me if I stand here? No, pretending I have something to do with the installation of it. You know, when I lay it in here, I like to. Oh, don't go there! Cool.
You can't simply just repeat what you did in the first film. You now have to take what was in the first film and make it 10 times bigger. Not for the sake of doing it, but because you have the opportunity to. And so it gives you the chance and a reason to introduce new characters, which are going to change the rules a bit.
Early on in developing the first X-Men film, I looked at the comic and I saw that they called it Professor Xavier's School for the Gifted. But in reality, it was only about 7 or 8 mutants at any given time that were living there and doing heroic deeds. But it didn't really feel like a school. So I thought, well, what an opportunity to bring in more mutant characters and have the X-Men be the teachers and have the younger characters be the students. And by doing that, I knew that in the second film I was able to pull some characters that I was fond of out of that younger group into the main flow of the picture. So now all of a sudden there's this kind of, we've gone from the paper moon relationship in X-Men 1 to this gruff loner who's stuck with these younger characters.
The kids are kind of important anyways, only because they're kind of fresh hope. I think some of the older mutants might be jaded, some of the older humans are jaded, so these like young kids are new and kind of fresh ideas and fresh faces towards tolerance.
Ollie, have you tried not being a mutant?
If you're any minority, suppressed minority, homosexual, religious, Muslim, whatever it is, that is the most absurd question that people do ask. Can you try not to be who you are? And so we felt it was very important to show that absurd side.
To me, that's what it's about, this whole kind of idea of discriminating for no reason and this whole misunderstanding between groups of people, and I think it can be translated into what we see every day.
The point of the movie is they're all humans, and really the people that pay the price are the people that are inflexible, that say, no, only I'm a human and you're not. And that's really the core of racism. That's what makes it abhorrent and ultimately evil. You know, you can't judge people on the basis of their skin, their mental abilities, or their claws. You know, you just can't. We're all human.
In my opinion, I think it has gotten better. You ask other people, they'll tell you that it hasn't. But I think it's a very human thing. I mean, human beings are very clannish. You know, they like to stick to their own.
You look out for yourself, then you look out for your family, then you look out for your community. You know, people are just very into, I mean, I think it's sort of an instinct to look out for your own kind. And when another group comes along that's of a different, you know, that looks different or is of a different ilk than you, people feel very threatened, and they start to fight.
I sneak in there and show them this. What's happening here is there's a 300-pound metal disc that takes about 15 minutes to rev up to 800 RPM. When it reaches full speed, this is air cannon here that's going to fire a charge that's going to send the car up about 12, 13 feet into the air. And so far, you've done one test with it suspended.
Yeah, at 650 RPMs.
And then you did another test just to test the launch,
cannon.
the cannon.
Yeah.
And the cannon is compressed air or nitrogen?
It's yeah, compressed air and nitrogen. Yeah. So there's a cylinder inside a cylinder, and then we release all the energy of the cylinder by basically opening up a valve on top of it, and it releases all this energy transfer up into pulling the car away from it.
At about 4 feet, as it's rising, explosive bolts are going to jam into the disc, stop it dead, which will then transfer the centrifugal energy from the disc into the body of the car, and the car should spin around in midair. At least that's the idea.
Here is the count. We will roll the cameras and we will go, and 1, the flame goes out, 2, 3, that's a little bit of time for the flames to get underneath, which Bryan wants. 3, 4, 5.
Wait, 4, what just happened?
The guys are just going on the ratchet.
Both of them at the same time?
These 2, yes.
Okay.
These 2. 4, 5, the car goes.
Okay.
Right, Aaron's in this position. And 6, well, when I count it, you'll see how quickly it is. I'm just trying to explain the counts and then we do it. And 6, 7, 8, 9.
So 6, 7, 8, what happened? Nothing.
The flame
moved from him to there.
And 6 is Aaron's throw. And 6, same time, we need a time to get the flame. But when I do the full count, this is it.
No, right.
No, and
so 6, 7, 8. The
9,
flame is moving there.
The guys go.
9, those guys go.
10.
And the countdown is actually the flame, right? So it's like 1, and it's like 2, 3, 4. So I can time it so that I'm on him for 1.
Okay.
And then as it comes,
Great.
you
Okay.
sort of follow the count.
Maybe we'll okay. As long as you just are not going to lose.
Well, I am going to have a steady cam in the shot, though, so that would.
Yeah, well, you know.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather.
It's almost just it just boom, the stuff comes out, and then you're just getting a little up to the police car. We need that kind of coverage though. We have the IMO, we have that, we have this one up there.
There's one up in this window.
Up top there.
And we're gonna use the Vistacam to get the clean play.
2 IMOs.
And then this.
And then across the street.
So I gotta pick. I'm gonna either take that camera or the one upstairs and put it on a track and run it sideways, so that there's some sideways motion. So we can follow the flames out and keep moving as the cars like that. We know exactly where they're going to land?
We've got little side bets going on here.
Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4.
We were watching from the side as they shot the explosions go off, and these guys are engulfed in flames, and you're just waiting for them to go, and then they fly out about a second later, and I always imagine what it'd be like for that stunt guy to go, please drag me out, please drag me out, you know. But it is one of the best stunts I've ever seen.
I remember when the first X-Men film came out, I was just thought, what the hell? And why is everyone so obsessive about these people? And of course it's because everyone grew up, you know, with them and it's quite a pressure, I think, in a way, when you play a character that a lot of people have some idea of what it should be like, and it's part of their childhood or their adolescence. It's quite a pressure to sort of fulfill their expectations.
Like the Wolverine character, he's a new, strange, unusual mutant that we're able to re-explore the X-Men universe through. So he served a wonderful purpose, and he's a funny character as well as a dangerous one. And action.
Rebecca and I actually have a sort of support group. When we first met, we didn't really talk about anything else but what a nightmare the makeup was, and how we dealt with grown people poking at you.
I feel bad because everybody wants to know about the makeup process. Everybody. I mean, standing in line at the grocery store, everybody's, how long did that take? How long did that makeup take? And I feel so bad because I get so jaded about answering that question, and I don't want to complain anymore. I don't want to be, I solemnly swear to never complain about the makeup in X-Men ever again.
It's new designs for Rebecca's Mystique. A little bit different from the first movie. Prosthetics are all pretty much the same. We built them a little bit differently, and we're applying them a fair bit differently. There's no glues or anything like that used in the application of the prosthetics. So there's no thinners or anything like that needed to remove them, so it's very safe.
We have improved on the makeup process a little bit. The first one took 8 hours every single day, and this time we got it down to like 5 hours. And it wasn't quite as toxic, which is great. And the removal process wasn't quite as bad. The first time it took like 2.5 hours to take everything off, and now we got it down to an hour to remove it.
She wears, I think there's about 20-some large prosthetic that she wears all over her body. And then we airbrush the rest of her body.
This film is going to reach a huge audience, and hopefully some people will glean that off of it, that if you're different, and you're repressed and you're a minority of any kind, it's okay. Celebrate that, because because anything that makes you unique is what makes you wonderful. And the scene between Mystique and Nightcrawler, just in a few lines, encapsulates that. He asks a question that is a very normal question that anybody could ask, and he gets an answer that people who understand X-Men and really believe in it and can translate the X-Men ideas to their own lives, it really hits home. It's very strong. If there's one rule of thumb with X-Men, it's, don't judge a book by its cover. And that plays very, very well into Nightcrawler. It also plays very well into Kelly Hugh's character, who plays Lady Deathstrike.
I'm a huge fan of the first X-Men and Bryan Singer. I think he is an absolute genius, and so just the fact that I was chosen to be involved in this project in any way, I was so pleased. For the longest time, I didn't know who my character was. They kept changing the names on me, and I wasn't sure what the name of my character was going to be, and it took me a little while to find out that I was playing this mutant character.
Lady Deathstrike was one of the things added by Mike Dougherty and Dan Harris, and I had a character named Anne Reynolds, who was William Stryker's female assassin assistant in the book God Loves, Man Kills, which is one of my favorite X-Men stories. And so I had her in the story, and you found out when Xavier's Dark Cerebro went off that she was a mutant, and then Stryker is forced to take her out himself. So it was sort of an interesting thing. And along the way, Bryan wisely figured out that you had an opportunity to put in another kick-ass mutant, and they chose Deathstrike, which was just an amazing choice. And Kelly Hu is awesome.
One of the beauties of X-Men movies is to see mutants fighting other mutants, and we didn't feel like we had enough of it. So the introduction.
Let's see if there's a way that we can make this guy more dimensional. He's very straight-laced, very Boy Scout, and and I said, Bryan, he just does this through the whole movie. So it's not like people go, in X-Men, did you do all your own stunts? I'm like, I didn't do any stunts. It was this, So we came up with this idea for one of the guards to grab my hand away from my visor, so I can't use my visor, so that I have to resort to physical. Which also shows that these guys are trained at the mansion. I said, Bryan, because otherwise, Cyclops could be 350 pounds and sit there and drink beer and eat potato chips and watch TV. I mean, really, it's like, where's Cyclops? Oh, he's lagging behind it.
Okay, the only area that I'm a little concerned about is the turn, because I really want to indicate the method. Your journey really is to go from this window, come around here, do that. So
what we had planned was there's that line, what the hell is going on in there, and that's on the move. And once I literally get to the point where I'm going to blast, the doors open, that turns me, boom, into the dark.
That's what we visualize.
So I'm positioned here.
He's almost, he just starts to turn, she starts.
But then, what about the battle with the...
Same thing.
Well, that still happens.
Bam, bam, it's still the same thing, it's just that he starts to make this.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the strike. I mean, whether that happens here or there is not particularly important to me. Although I prefer, frankly, if it happened here, because it makes a lot more sense. And he basically he comes around. Your whole goal is to get from here to here, facing that way. Right. So along the way, you get darted, fire,
Still make
boom,
fire.
whoa,
Okay.
Bang, 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 bang. You throw these things down, then you turn, and now, but that doesn't make sense to this thing. So basically, you got to throw these things down, and then you never get a chance to turn.
I think he starts to turn, and then she either says something or he senses it, and just peripheral enough to get hit. Not so staged. He do lots of things with that.
All right, then it's sort of like
She's right here. She leaves here.
right here.
She's in the air here.
And yeah, but just one brief, it's like whoa, just to say like because now we're entering into a new realm of fighting.
So it's cool. We worked out a really cool fight sequence, and I get to actually move around and punch and stuff like that.
I'm fine. Jesus. Are you sure? Yeah, no, I'm fine.
All the stuff you see in the comic book, pow, ka-chang.
Go.
I am a black belt in karate, and so in the film I get to do a lot of fighting, some martial arts, but not really. It's sort of more a style of fighting that we just sort of invented. I don't think the stunt choreographers were really wanting it to look very martial artsy as much as they just wanted it to look like vicious and yet very sleek at the same time. I've had a little bit of wire work experience, but not a whole lot. And in this case, I mean, I think it looked absolutely fantastic. 1 second she's standing there, and you blink your eyes, and she's up against the wall, and she's got him trapped. And it was a really fun scene to shoot because Jimmy Marsden is just a nut.
I used to think you were one of a...
Final fight between Lady Deathstrike and Wolverine. It's, I think, a lot of really cool stuff that hasn't really been seen before, especially with the claws and the adamantium claws. I think that really adds a whole other element that people haven't really seen yet with these characters, with the claws and the vicious fighting and the incredible choreography.
It is quite interesting. Very ferocious, fierce, ugly, flesh-tearing battle that goes on.
Both of us are on wires. There are times when we're both wired and spinning in the air together, which is quite dangerous when you're working with two peoples and wires and trying to keep each other from getting tangled up.
And I have a feeling I'm going to have a few more bruises at the end of shooting.
Now!
When I was doing that stunt, I turned up, and as always, I asked my double to do it first. I just wanted to make sure it's possible and he's not going to kill himself. So he was doing it, and then he showed me. And as he went to show me, he jumped and just hit and rolled off the front of the mat.
Now!
And I was like, I thought, what the hell? So I get up there, and of course, it's one thing to look up and watch someone do it. By the time you get up to the top there, you're like, whoa. But anyway, I've got all these new actors in X-Men who kind of think, hey, that guy's Wolverine, so what can I do? I jump off.
Action!
Well, I didn't do that many takes, but anyway, we made it.
We're taking it, I think, to a more believable character level. I mean, I know that there's some weird things that look like, to the naked eye, like they're unbelievable. By the time they're edited and get the sound effects and everything, they'll look real.
The important thing to be aware of is that to send this car, even though it has to appear haphazard, to send this car in the direction of the cables, you've got to be angled right. You're hitting it at the door. So that's, you know, just be mindful of that, because wherever you're directed, that's where that beam's got to go, and it's got to correspond to the movement of the vehicle.
3, 2, 1, go!
Brian?
Cut.
Don't go in yet, Brian.
Don't stay out.
Cut. Everybody stay out of the set.
Originally, they wanted Hugh to come off this, which was, even for a stunt guy, it didn't make sense. It was too high. It was like, it was too Batmanish, too Spider-Man, and that's not what this is. This is about a guy who just has mutant powers, who can't do power things. You know, so I mean, Bryan liked that because of the window, and it looked more realistic.
As they say on the airplanes, walked away from another one.
This experience on X-Men 2 has been better than the first. I would say in every respect.
When you go into a movie, you always hope that you're going to be doing a sequel, and you're going to take it all the way to X-Men 10, really, because as long as you keep making sequels, there's got to be interest in the movies.
I remember on our last day, Patrick Stewart was there, and it was a long day, and it was about 8 o'clock in the morning, and he turned to me and he said, you know, the best thing about this movie is we'll probably get to come back and all be together again.
And in fact, a lot of the backstage gossip is always about, well, are we doing a third film? Or a fourth?
Don't forget, this comic's been around 40 years. That's 40 years of story. And it'd be great if we could pursue it.
It's infinitely variable. Your leads are infinitely variable. The powers you use, the effects you see, the stories you tell are infinitely variable. And you know, it's really just a matter of as long as the audience wants to see more out of this world, possibilities are limitless.
Do I think there's going to be an X3?
Sorry, I'm late. Couldn't find any parking for the X2. Did I miss anything?
Just standing by.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Jean Grey.
Mr. President,
Oh,
she's not really here.
hi.
I saved you a spot over here.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd like to be with my fiancé.
Oh, yeah.